Good evening. Welcome to Around the World with Dee and Friends. Tonight, we are going to be discussing India, the educational protest, education issues in India, and also Christian faith and hypocrisy. And I will be discussing all of this with Harsh Med. And Harsh should be here very soon. But in the meanwhile, what I'm going to be doing is sharing the show around so that everybody knows that we are live. So I begin my sharing. And it's like, Harsh has got to get in here. Okay. Sharing the show. Let everybody know that we are live. Well, what happened? I don't see it on my timeline. Here it is. I was going to say the show better be here. Okay. And there's people I send in Messenger to let them know that we're live so they can come on in. We're here. And let me see. I got to share to some more people, letting everybody know we're here. We're live. We are live, everybody. Come join us. Oops, and here he is. Here's the man of the hour. Hey,
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Good to see you.
Baruch Hashem.
Yes. Well, well, right now I'm sharing the show to get people in here, let people know we're live.
You know,
Hello.
if people don't watch this podcast, it's going to be worse than another Holocaust.
Oh, here's Evelina's here. Hello, Evelina.
Yeah,
It's good to
that's
see
going to
you.
be fun. That was funny when we did the show on Wednesday, and she was so angry about, like, the Argentina stuff.
Well, she's there, so it's different
Yeah.
when you're directly at a location.
Uh,
Like you have your insight with India because you've been
yeah,
there.
that,
I have no say in a lot of things if I haven't been there.
well, yeah, India is like its own Wild Wild West.
It's the Wild Wild West of India.
Yeah, I mean, Modi's like trying to be like a Netanyahu and a Putin, but Indian people also never really gave a fuck about unity until like until colonization happened. So good luck with all that.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah,
Yeah, so that's going to be, that's what it was. It was good to see the young people out there, It's like, okay, what did it take to get people out to protest?
well, I mean, I think the reason it happened is like I've been talking to some people over there. They're like, it's not really about Hindu versus Muslim as much as just like incompetence and the incompetent people in the edge in charge of like a horrific education system.
Right.
That's what I think a lot of that's about. Because I mean, when you have education ministers leaking exam papers the day before a test,
Yeah.
I mean that's just.
Yeah.
I mean that's just so crooked. But then again, then again, it's not that surprising. 'Cause the way people in India treat education is no different than the way people, in Western countries treat sports or at like youth sports.
Right.
But it's like everyone's got to make it or else you're fucked.
Hmm.
It's like you don't have a degree, don't even talk to us. That's how they're like.
Right. So
You know,
that's
which is
normal.
yeah, which is really ironic considering how bad a lot of our industries are internationally,
Hmm.
worldwide speaking. You know, it's kind of weird. Like, oh well, they're smart, they're doctors, they're smart, they're engineers, they're smart, they're like attorneys or whatever. But in reality, is a lot of our professionals are complete morons. So it's a rather interesting twist.
Yeah.
But over there, but no, but back to like India though, when it comes to like the education system, yeah, it's like it's nuts. Because a lot of it's just like memorizing and just memorizing, what to write on a test, and that's basically it. And the teachers there, they think they're treated like freaking celebrities at some of these schools, and freaking they get the power and worship to their head, so they don't really care about the kids. They just care that they get their quote unquote respect,
Okay.
and it's just a mess.
It's
I
a mess.
mean, yeah, they're more disciplined. Yeah, you think the students are more disciplined and respectful than they are here, which is probably true to a point, but at what cost?
At
It's
what
like
cost?
it's like if you overemphasize like your career and working over being and becoming a human being, then what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Then that's kind of how you become autistic. But the thing is, I don't know. It's not really also helping people their intelligence either. It's not just it's like this. It's almost the same way as the education system here. It's like they worry more about memorizing a scantron than about learning.
Yeah, memorizing isn't actual learning. It's not using your critical thinking skills.
No,
It's almost like robotic.
right? Like they're not going to learn. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to learn. It's just. It's just fucked up, really.
Right.
No, it's not like it's hard to really say. Well, okay, it's Hindu, Muslim, Hindu. It's a Hindu, Muslim. Oh, it's Modi. It's whatever. And it's like the education system in India has been messed up for a long time.
Okay.
It's a long fucking time. It's not just some fucking. It's not like the education system in India was perfect and then that Indra Modi. No, like it's been going on for a long time. So.
So it's hit the peak of where enough.
Yeah, and it also shelters a lot of people too, and there's a lot of students as well. That's why a lot of them come over to America. That's why a lot of them come over to the countries, and they're like, "Wait, what am I supposed to do with this, that, and the third?" It's like they also don't get to grow up fast either. So
Hmm.
I want to but it's kind of a clusterfuck. That's to put it nicely.
Put it nicer. Okay. Um, Let me see. Do we want to start off with the article with India, and then we'll go over to the Christian Zionism and the Christian stuff?
Yeah, I guess we could do whatever with that.
Yeah, because
All right, I think I got this one. Hold on.
you want to take it on?
Which one? I mean, yeah, let's discuss the article.
Okay, let me put it up on the screen. Let me see.
All right.
And this is from Al Jazeera. It's titled Future at Stake. India moves to demolish a university that was built by a Muslim leader, or that he found. It was founded by a Muslim leader. It says authorities in
Oh, that
BJP.
part sounds like that part sounds like that sound parts. If that's true, that's very Modi-esque, but I don't know if that's really the case.
You don't know, yeah, because it says here Uttar Pradesh state alleged 38 of Mohammed Ali
Uttar
Jihad.
Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh, yes.
Yeah. 40 buildings were built illegally. They're saying that. It almost reminds me of the West Bank,
Yeah.
Israel saying.
I mean, it's certainly very sus, but I'd have to look up some other articles in that. But in the meanwhile, we keep going because I'm gonna have
Okay,
some stuff for you to share about this topic and another video too, and some fun Zionist videos as well.
Okay.
We say fun because not because of what's happening there, but we say fun because some of the reactions of some of the nonsense about it. So, all right,
Yeah,
all
yeah, it
right, back
says,
to
yeah.
back to the article.
Okay. And this is from Rampur, India. More than 100 people sit cross-legged on mats, braving the brutal July heat as they raise slogans and wave the national flag in a North Indian town. Barely 200 kilometers, or 132 miles from the capital, New Delhi, where thousands of youths demanding education reforms just forced the minister to resign, a group of students, alumni, and residents are holding an indefinite sit-in to oppose the planned demolition of 38 of Muhammad Ali Johar University's 40 buildings. It just sounds sus, like you said. Named after a freedom fighter who fought against British rule, the university was founded by prominent Muslim politician Azam Khan in Rampur district of Uttar Pradesh state.
Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, I knew I said it wrong. Khan established the Muhammad Ali Johar Trust in 2003, which oversaw the university's establishment 3 years later. On July 15, when protests led by the Cockroach Janta Party, CJP, a youth movement born out of a joke, were at their peak, the Rampur district administration issued an order to demolish most of the university's buildings, alleging they flouted regulatory guidelines. Only two structures, including a proposed medical college block, were built with valid approvals, the authorities claimed, as they ordered the university to take down the illegal buildings by August 5th. If they fail to do so, the authorities said they will move in with bulldozers and recover the cost of the demolition from the university. And I was going to say, it sounds just like what's happening in Palestine. Protesters hold an indefinite sit-in outside the gate of Muhammad Ali Johar University in Rampur, Uttar Pradesh, India. On Monday, the state administration issued an interim stay on its orders, but did not explicitly state when the demolition was halted. So they have an interim stay on its orders. Johar University's vice chancellor, Zaruddin, told Al Jazeera the stay order does not mean the demolition has been called off. It means that the demolition will not take place by the August 5 deadline set by the RDA. The university is now seeking a verdict that quashes the demolition order outright, he said, using the acronym for Rampur Development Authority. Stop the demolition. For nearly 3,000 students pursuing dozens of courses at the 250-acre campus, the government move is a bolt from the blue. Since July 15th, a group of university students and alumni has been sitting outside its main gate demanding the withdrawal of the demolition order. If a federal minister can be forced to resign following the CJP protest, why can't the Uttar Pradesh government be forced to stop the demolition of the university when so many students are agitating here? Asked Usama Tayyab, who graduated from Johar University in 2019. Uttar Pradesh, home to about 240 million people, has been governed by the right-wing BJP, what is that, Bharatiya Janata Party, since 2017.
Most of, let me see the BJP, the Bharatiya Janata Party. Yeah.
Okay. The state's chief minister, Yogi and Adityanath,
Aditya Adityanath.
Aditya,
Nath.
not,
Adityanath. Yeah. Yogi
okay,
Adityanath.
okay, Yogi Adityanath is a saffron-clad, hard-line Hindu monk known for his anti-Muslim hate speech and politics. Oh, he sounds like a lovely man, doesn't he?
Oh well. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like
That's the type of guy that's the type of the guy that have one too many, and then say stuff like Hindu, you know, Muslim. He'd say stuff like Muslims are like pigs, Hindus are like tigers. So
yeah.
that's the type of stuff he would say probably if I
Hmm.
had to venture a guess.
Okay. Khan, the 77-year-old founder and lifelong chancellor of the university, had been one of the most stringent critics, of course he was a critic, of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh. He is one of the founders of the Samawadi Party. Samawadi means socialist in Hindi.
Yeah, Samajwadi. Yeah.
Samajwadi, a political group popular among the state's 38 million Muslims, as well as a large majority of its underprivileged caste Hindu voters.
Right. Um,
Khan studied law in the 1970s at the Aligarh Muslim University, Hindu's largest minority institution,
well,
about 160 kilometers, 100 miles from Rampur. At Aligarh, he made a mark as a fiery student leader and later as a politician who took on a former royal family which for decades had dominated the politics in Rampur, a district with nearly 50% Muslims, according to the last census conducted in 2011. He joined electoral politics in 1980 and represented Rampur in the Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assembly for 10 terms, also serving as a minister in several state governments and as a leader of the opposition. He was also elected to the lower house of Indian Parliament from Rampur and sent to the upper house later by his party. In 2003, he established a Mohammed Ali Juhar Trust, which oversaw the establishment of the university 3 years later and cemented his position as one of the most prominent Muslim leaders in northern India. Vendetta politics. Shortly after coming in power in 2017, Adityanath's government filed nearly 100 cases against Khan, charging him with land grab, forgery, and hate speech. Dozens of those cases against him relate to Johar University. Khan spent more than 2 years in jail before the Supreme Court granted him bail in 2022. The next year, a court in Rampur convicted him, his wife Tazeen Fatima, and their son Abdullah Azam Khan, also a former legislator, of using forged birth certificates.
nah.
Okay.
Well,
He
I
is
mean, the problem with, finish the article because I have something else to say about it. The
okay.
education system.
Okay. He is currently serving a 2 year sentence handed down in May this year for making provocative remarks during the 2019 general elections, alongside his conviction in a separate case related to a fake income tax document. Supporters say the case against Khan and his family are politically motivated. The state government denies the allegations. Samajwadi Party MP Javed Ali Khan, unrelated to Azim Khan, told Al Jazeera that Juhar University's demolition order was vendetta politics by a ruling suspension opposed to education and intent on keeping people illiterate. There are many reasons why this university is being targeted. First, it was founded by Azam Khan. Second, its foundation stone was laid by Mulayam Singh, the Samajwadi Party patriarch. Third,
Right.
it was inaugurated by Akhilesh Yadav, the former
Yeah.
chief minister of the state. And fourth, it's a minority university, he said.
I sent you another article on this too, if you want to read that
Okay,
later on, like in a bit. And then,
okay.
yeah, because it's a little more complex than that. Now they're saying, of course, that the Uttar Pradesh government is alleging that this land was built on farmland, which
Oh,
I don't know what that. I mean, if he didn't, I mean, if he owned the land and he built it, that's his thing. If he didn't own the land and he built it, then that's where the whole clusterfuck begins. When it comes to property ownership, it's that yeah, that's its own like can of worms. I'll just say that when it comes to property ownership in India, it's like
mhm.
you got to go out of your way to make sure you still own your like. There are times you got to go out of your way to make sure you still own your properties. That's how it is. I
Mm,
remember back in the day when it came to land ownership, because I guess this is not part of the article. I remember back in the day when it came to my grandmother's old house. Like my uncle would always have to fly every December, either every December, or every January, to make sure, like my to make sure like the paperwork was kept up. That the registration was kept up to make sure the property was in our names. So
okay,
not our names, but in her name.
right.
So I mean it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to So I mean, if it's a land issue, then that changes that changes a lot more than what Al Jazeera or any of these else is saying, because that's its own red herring, so to speak. But I
Right.
guess continue on with the rest of the article.
Okay. Then it has that Mulayam Singh Yadav, the main founder of the Samajwad Party, died in 2022. His son Akhilesh now heads the party and is a member of the anti-BJP coalition
Right.
that includes the Indian National Congress,
Yeah.
India's main opposition party.
Yeah, that's Rahul Gandhi and yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. BJP spokesman Rakesh Tripathi said the
Rakesh Tripathi.
Rakesh Tripathi
Rakesh.
Rakesh said the demolition order is in
Yeah,
line.
Rakesh Tripathi, yes.
Okay. He said
Yeah.
the demolition order is in line with legal procedures against illegal construction and accused the Samajwadi Party of playing appeasement politics.
Right.
Okay. Can
Well,
anyone? Yeah.
I mean, like I said, when it comes to the land issue, if it's built on a
Hmm. Yeah, because that's what they're saying. What we are doing is simply following the law on illegal construction. But didn't they know that it was illegal before this?
I
Yeah.
mean, that I don't know, because if it was built on illegal land, or if the paperwork hasn't been done to like make sure the land is in their name or whatever, and they built this property, then yeah, they're kind of screwed.
Hmm.
Because I mean, and that then they are kind of screwed, and they are guilty as for all the other. But my question is, who the hell? I mean, if this was like, I don't even know if it's actually illegal land or not, because it could just be a case of paperwork, not being done. But then or paperwork being forged or something. But then on the other hand, if it is stolen land, if it is built on illegal land, then I don't know. Then I don't know how this was allowed to be built in the first place.
Yeah, that's what I'm questioning.
I
Right?
mean, this must have been some old school, like behind closed doors types of business that had took place. If I had to venture a guess,
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense.
because if they were doing stuff like that, then this is just this is just scratching the surface. Because if
Yeah.
that stuff is exposed, that's when everything goes to shit. That's when everything collapses. I mean, you're talking about a loss of accreditation. You're talking about the buildings being shut down. You're talking about people going to prison. I mean, that could get very messy if what they're saying is true.
Right, because you're figuring all these people that would have been going to the university, and it's like it's crazy that like you said, it was being built while it was being built. Why wasn't anybody saying anything?
Yeah, I mean, this is when it gets very, very messy and murky. Because if
Yeah,
it's for other reasons, then you can say what you want. Then not say what you want to say. It's your show. Of course, you can say what you want to say. But I mean, then you could. Then it's okay. Modi's just trying to relive his, trying to live his own dreams. But if it was built on illegal land, if it was built illegally on land that's not even theirs, then well, that changes the whole thing.
yeah, it's a whole
I mean,
different picture.
all this just because some freaking minister. All this because some freaking minister decided to leak exam papers,
Yeah,
final exam questions the day before a test, and then, which is their sad part is I feel bad for the students suffering for this.
yeah, the students are the ones.
Yeah.
And here, girls will never get another chance. It says.
Hmm.
But anger over the imminent demolition of Rampor's only full-fledged university is growing. The district is ahead of only four. Wait, the district is ahead of only four among Uttar Pradesh's 75 districts in terms of literacy rate, according to the 2011 census. Also, nearly half of the students at Juhar University are females, according to a chief proctor, Julrez Nizami. Ikra, a 50-year law student.
50-year law student goes by only one name to allow Jazeera. She had chosen the university reason. Our parents are satisfied with the atmosphere here and with the safety offers to women students over the universities. If this university demolished, girls like us will never get another chance to study anywhere else. Our parents will not be convinced to send us elsewhere. They chose us to believe Muslim girls are safe here. I mean,
Yeah,
that's always that's the thing I feel bad for the students. I feel bad for the students who
yeah,
got sent to jail for protesting. I feel bad for the students who may end up who worked hard to get there, who worked hard, studied and worked hard, and they may not have anything to show for it because some retards at the top, some retarded administrators at the top fucked up everything.
yeah. The students are the ones that are suffering.
Yeah, it's not the
Okay, continue on, Harsh.
Ikra said that the government is running a counseling camp to advise the students to join another college or university to continue their education, but we don't want to go there. We chose the institution for a reason. Okay, if the colleges are telling you to go elsewhere, then yeah, that's a bad sign.
Hmm.
Colleges do not tell their students, especially in that country, to go elsewhere unless, to study unless they're suffering.
Hmm.
So unless they're really screwed. All right.
Okay,
You know,
Harsh.
what's crazy though? In America, it's like they focus too much on nonsense in the education system. But in India, it feels like everyone's just like one track minded.
Right.
So it's kind of like that really weird.
It's lifetime.
Yeah. But then I don't even know how I feel about education in general because AI is going to take over everything. So fuck. I mean, but yeah, the thing is with the education system. All right, where were we here? And it's not just Muslims who are protesting against the university's planned demolition. More than a third of its students are Hindus. They may call it a Muslim university, and yes, it is a minority university by legal status, but that does not mean others do not study here. Chandini Dwakar, a first-year paramedical student, told Al Jazeera, "I've been a part of the university for the past year, and I've never once felt like a non-Muslim in a minority university. Everyone here is friendly, teachers and students alike," she said at the sit-in site. Yeah,
Hmm.
but here's the thing with the education system in India in general, generally speaking. Like, it's so hyper competitive that if you're not like the top 5% of your class, or you don't have connections or whatever, when it comes to like working in India or going elsewhere or being connected to go else, to study abroad or work abroad, then you're pretty much screwed. Because I mean, at the end of the day, there's 1.2 billion people in India and 86 million jobs. That tells you how hyper competitive everything is over there.
Yeah.
I mean, that itself is insane.
Hmm.
I mean, now it's 1.2 or 1.4 billion, 86 million jobs. That tells you that not even 1% of the country is actually employed. I mean,
Crazy.
yeah. Actually, let me make sure if I got that right. Oh no, not that's like less than 10% of the country is actually employed.
But only less than 10% of the country is employed.
Well, I mean, if there's eight or let me do the yeah, 1.48 billion people approximately in India. So let's
Okay.
just have this fun calculation. 148 billion divided, I'm sorry, let me just,
Hmm.
okay. All right, so 86 million divided by 148. Yeah, you're looking at 0.5.8% of the people are employed.
Hmm.
So that means the rest either try to own their own little shops or they're just whatever.
Hmm.
So that just tells you how hyper competitive it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
Hmm.
You know.
Down here's a clue with stuff. It says Vice Chancellor Zaharuddin dismissed the charge, claiming the institution located in Rampur's Singankara village came under RDA jurisdiction only in September 2024, years after the buildings were constructed. Well, it was under some jurisdiction before then.
Yeah. Now, especially with these court cases, they can take forever too. You know.
Hmm. Oh, so it says approval added Zaharuddin was therefore not required at the time of the construction and cannot be demanded now.
Yeah, that seems. Yeah, yeah. That's
Okay.
Zahiruddin was therefore not retired. Okay, there was no RDA in Singankara at the time the university was formed. They were running courses approved by different government bodies, which granted approval only once we met all the criteria. He told Al Jazeera and the RDA's move a violation of the constitutional right to education. They're simply using this tool as against the visionary Azam Khan, who created this university for the upliftment of minorities, the poor, and the underprivileged. He said.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're saying. I
We
don't
don't
know.
know. We don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that could be true. This could just be Modi trying to, make up for lost time, so to speak, or, you know, air out past grievances. But at the same time, if these buildings weren't built legally, then I don't know what to make of it. And,
But it seems like they were.
yeah. I mean, if we're penalizing people for following the laws and in 2019 because they didn't follow 2024 laws, and now you're just using time travel as a reason to go after people. So I don't know, but
Yeah,
that's yeah.
yeah, and what it was referred to during one time period, then the law could change, calling it something else. I don't know. It's just all this changing.
And remember, Modi's been in power in India since 2014. So
Right,
this isn't like he's been there for 12 years already.
right.
This makes me, God damn,
I
where did
forget
all the
what
time
time.
go? God damn. But
I
yeah,
know.
he's been there for 12 years. Now, it's really weird for me to say all this because when I lived in India, he wasn't the prime minister.
Right,
He was not the guy. He was not the guy at all. Like he was just there. Like he wasn't in power until I was back here. So that tells you how crazy all this is.
yeah, you didn't have to experience all this.
Yeah, it feels very different. I mean, last few times I've been in India when he was prime minister, it just felt very, very different. I didn't feel like the old country anymore, which
Hmm.
may be a good and a bad thing, depending on which aspects we're talking about. So,
Right. But how can you not correct something? It says here, the official says the alleged violations cannot be regularized on the existing laws, leaving demolition as the only legal remedy. That's like ridiculous.
I mean, I've seen a lot of buildings in India. I'm not saying it's a run, obviously India, they've got great architecture and all that fun stuff. But I've
Hmm.
seen certain buildings that are not up to code that the Indian government allowed for a long time. So I don't know where this is all coming from. I don't know what it's about. I mean, I kind of know, but so I mean, this could just be about religion.
It could be because Modi and his group, and
Right,
the fact that it's educating the undesirable people, the people that the minorities and
right.
whatever. Al Jazeera made repeated attempts to contact Dwivedi for his comments
Dwivedi, Dwivedi, yeah.
Dwivedi after his comment.
Dwivedi, yeah. For his comments and even visited his office in Rampur, but he declined to meet or respond to requests for an interview.
Ah, the police coming to our houses. That's lovely.
Mm.
Hey, you want to read this?
Yeah. The university has challenged the RDA order as protests grow on campus. If others can achieve the results through a peaceful protest, why can't we, as Muslim students, achieve our legitimate goals of stopping the demolition of our university? If this requires sacrifice, we are willing to give it, but we will not accept injustice against us any longer. Usman Ali, a law graduate from the university, told Al Jazeera. He alleged the police are visiting the homes of students on strike to pressure their families into calling off their protest. Police come to our homes and threatening our parents with consequences, but we will not back down. Yikes.
That is crazy. Threatening the parents.
Yeah, that's a new tactic. Usually the police, if they're tired of protesters, they just take the law into their own hands, sadly. Not that that's any better, it's not.
No, it's not.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of weird because even though India has never, like, I think we were mentioning this on our call before the show,
Mhm.
India itself has never been considered a Hindu nation, legally speaking, or technically speaking, a Hindu nation or a Hindu democracy. It's been called a democracy.
Right.
That's why they had like two separate laws, one for people who were Hindus and one for people who weren't. And some of the people who weren't Hindus would get like special privileges because they weren't Hindus.
Hmm.
In regards to employment and applications and all that, college acceptance and all that.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, at the same time, it's like, with Modi, yeah, he's trying to like make it into his own, Hindu country. And even though he's doing that, he's not really doing anything that much different when it comes to the government overstepping his bounds because when it comes to a lot of these countries, especially out east, they don't really like the Bill of Rights is not really your best friend.
Okay.
They don't really believe in like personal freedoms the way they believe in the way they believe in the West, which is really weird because I felt like I had more independence when I lived in India than I did when I lived in America. I live here now, but then again, that was also before this. Modi was prime minister, so I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
But I mean, it's very, very weird. But I was living there also. Well, I also had a lot more fun than the average person, so I always told I'll just leave it at that. But just with that, yeah. So it's yeah. So I mean, this always yeah. Police, police dealing with protesters. This is nothing new. I
Hmm.
remember 20 something years ago when a bunch of like co-eds, went to a university naked because they were tired of like women being raped or whatever, raped and sexually assaulted, and they basically were just killed by law enforcement.
Oh my God.
And it's like way back in the day. Like I don't know what they were doing to law enforcement, but they ended up dying at their hands during a protest. So I mean, this isn't really like all that out of the picture for them to do these sorts of things. And, I mean, they already jailed like 20 other students, I want to say. So it's really not a good situation, no matter how you slice it.
Mm.
But yeah, the education system's a mess. Not that America's is great, it really isn't.
No, and the thing is the thinking skills,
Yeah.
critical thinking skills.
I mean, we
Uh,
know why that's the case in these countries. Is nobody wants to ever be told how to think or what to think. Yeah.
right,
And that's all that is. Like, it's like shut up and do your job and stay in your lane. That's how they want to do.
right. Then it says on Saturday the protesters were joined by a delegation of Samajwadi Party parliamentarians, including Javed Ali Khan, Zaror Rahman Bark of Sambal, and Ira Chaudhry of
Yeah. Saturday, the protests were joined by a delegation of Samajwadi Party parliamentarians, including Javad Ali Khan, Ziaur Rahman Bark of Sambal, and Ikra Chaudhry of Kairana. Since 2014, when BJP's Narendra Modi became prime minister, India has seen a spike in demolition of homes, mosques, shops, and other properties in a pattern that rights groups say disproportionately affects Muslims. Authorities claim that they are targeting illegal encroachments. Yeah, it is kind of weird. Like when it comes to protesting laws, like the courts ruled against it. Like in 2024, the courts did rule that Modi didn't have the right to damage people's properties just because they got arrested for protests. They did rule that, the courts in India, but I don't know if they stopped doing that or they kept doing it, because I know in 2024 they started doing that. But I don't know if they're still doing that stuff now, which is just.
And you wonder why him and Netanyahu are such good buddies.
Yeah, I mean, that's the type of stuff that really gets. Because, I mean, if you're just in the wrong place, wrong time, and you get arrested for something like that and you lose your house, it's like, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, that's just absurd.
It
Now in,
is.
now in America, they have something similar to that, but that's under extreme circumstances. Like if somebody if somebody wants to post bond, because whether it's a friend, a family member, a loved one of some sort, right? And they don't have the cash to do it. Now, if they put up their home as collateral for them to be bonded out of prison, if they escape bond, they lose their house.
Ugh.
So I mean, they do have that in the States,
Mhm.
but that's under very extreme circumstances. Not just you were arrested at a protest. It's a lot more vicious than that. I mean it's kind of stupid. The whole situation is just absurd, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, like I
Yeah,
said, Modi is just like I say, he's got a lot of this stuff like Netanyahu.
yeah, I mean
Once you
that's.
read on, it sounds
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, I understand like why you want to do that as a deterrent. Like, okay, you're tired of people destroying properties, vandalizing, causing riot, making things violent, making things unsafe during these protests. But at the
Hmm.
same time, state-sponsored violence isn't much better. So,
No.
and plus, if land ownership doesn't mean anything, then why even have a country?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where at that point, it's like, well, if the government could take my property over something I didn't even do, over not even a conviction, just an arrest, it's like, it's kind of messed up.
Oh, definitely. It's
I
crazy.
mean, yeah, they don't really believe, like, they have a court system and they'd have some sort of due process, but it's never really been a great due process.
Hmm.
You know, it's never really been that great. And freedom of speech really, freedom of speech, sometimes it exists, but other times it doesn't. So I'll say it doesn't exist.
Okay.
But it's like there's laws on the books. We can't really criticize any religion. Even though like people criticizing Muslims, nothing really happens to them. But if you criticize Hinduism, apparently it's a criminal offense now. So
Mm. Yeah, he's trying to change India.
yeah, which I mean, a lot of Hindus look at Modi as someone trying to reverse the trend, stem the tide, because a lot of Indian people, especially Hindus, for like 70 something years, they're like, wait a second, why do we have these like seculars and Muslims, non-Hindus running the government, like Congress, people being so constantly selling us out? Why can't we have someone like a Modi?
Hmm.
Why can't we have someone who's like pro-Hindu, pro-India, pro-whatever? And now you have that. It's kind of like, that's not much better. It's really not that great either. Like either situation's really not that. I mean, it goes to the old theory. If a small group of people, when a small group of people can tell everyone else what to do, you may have to prepare for some sort of chaos.
Yeah, definitely. This, and like we said, talking about earlier, with all this with religion, it's just creates more problems in places. Instead of that, in India, people should say we're all Indian.
Right. I mean, the Hindu versus Muslim thing's been there forever. So in that way, it's not really surprising. A lot of Hindus feel like Modi is just trying to like right the wrongs of decades past or centuries past,
Okay.
especially go back to the Mughals and whatever for what they did to Hindus. But again, at the same time, it's like, oh man, you get to that level, it's just, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's kind of when you start going into a path you really can't come back from.
Right.
And you get down that path, it's like, okay. I have relatives who are like, oh yeah, Modi's great, he's awesome, he's this, that, and the third. I'm like, this is the type of stuff that gets people to be, this is the type of stuff you keep saying it, then you end up having blood on your hands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the type of stuff that leads to it. I mean, everyone talks about World War II or whatever, and like some of the things they were saying about, holy vey, I'm just sounding like one of them, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, when it comes to what happened in certain countries in Europe during World War II, or or even in, what happened in the USSR during that era, where lots of Christians were getting killed because they weren't following what was going on, and most people are like, oh, what can you do? It's like, yeah, you got to be very careful if you go down that slope.
Yes. Oh
You
yeah.
got to be absolutely careful, because once you go down that path, you can't come back from it.
Hmm.
You know.
Okay. Okay. You want to continue on with the article?
Where were we? We were at
Here we are. There are multiple dimensions.
there are multiple dimensions of demolition. One was meant to create a spectacle out of confronting powerful Muslims in front of its Hindu voters, which is true to a point, but not really. Second, there has been a sustained campaign throughout this government's tenure against minority institutions. The third, it does not want mingling between Hindus and Muslims, of which universities are a stronghold. Apurvanad, a teacher of Hindi literature at the University of Delhi, goes by a single name.
Yeah, so the kids in the universities, this is where they have a problem because you have Hindus and Muslims mingling, talking, getting to know each other.
Right. I mean, when you're children and young adults, when you have children and young adults, they don't know any better. They don't know they don't know anything about religion or geopolitics and us. I mean, they may know about their own culture, but they don't know like the back and forth between other cultures and other religions to like be prejudiced unless it's, unless the parents try to push that shit on their children.
Right.
But I thought, yeah.
Yeah, you would think it would be a good thing that the kids are mingling and getting to know each other.
But I mean, that's why it's kind of annoying whenever I hear people, like especially Indian people, talk about like how violence is bad, but then 5 seconds later, not even Indian people at this point, lots of people, they'll talk about how violence is bad, but then demonize a group of people 5 seconds later, and it comes in the same conversation. They're just like, all right, you're a fucking hypocrite. It's like, is violence bad or is it not?
Yes, that's the situation. Yeah, is it not?
Because if you're okay with violent rhetoric, then how can you be upset with violent actions?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of the problem. It's like everyone just thinks violence takes form in one that occurs in one form. It doesn't. There's physical violence, mental violence, emotional violence, spiritual violence.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to really damage somebody, you could do it without laying a finger on that person.
Mm-hmm.
You really want to do something to people. And if you're on social media, you know that better. And if you're a prominent person on social media, as you very well know, you've seen that happen on social media more than anywhere else. Probably.
Right. Yeah, the viciousness of people.
I mean, when you and Madeline were talking about how like someone on your page said, in regards to Gaza, was saying, it's just a genocide. Who cares? I mean, that's a lot of. I mean, as much as I want to believe they were just trying to troll and trying to be edgy, some people have become complete psychopaths when it comes to that.
Right. How can something just be a genocide? Oh, it's just a genocide. Why don't we make a big deal? It's just a genocide.
Unfortunately, a lot of people have the mentality of, if it's not mine, then it's fine.
Right.
Which is really scary.
It's not you and your family. It's not you and your family. It's not your neighborhood.
Which is kind of scary on my part, because I understand that mentality, knowing how stupid the world is, and knowing how like suicidal some of these Christian Zionists really are, or retarded. I don't know if they're suicidal or retarded, but you kind of develop an apathy toward idiots who want to like do stuff to get themselves killed. But at the same time, you also don't want to go completely down that path either, because that's just kind of when there's no turning back. Then at that point, if you're okay with that, if you can justify that sort of thing, then you're kind of like, all right, well, what's the big deal about the next step?
That's what's horrible.
Yeah. That's when you really, really have to be very careful about these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you want to finish this up? This is the last. This is the end of the article.
Back in Rampur, Abdul Kalim Ansari, another Johar University graduate, draws a parallel between their protests and the CJP movement that forced India's education minister, Dharmendra Pradhan, to resign over a series of examination paper leaks. Ansari, who attended both, said he was surprised for that calls for education reforms that drove the cockroach protesters to the streets do not include the imminent demolition of a full-fledged university as a part of their agenda. It is astonishing they're talking about education reforms, but saying nothing about the demolition notice served at Jauhar University, a minority university situated just a few hundred kilometers from Delhi, he said. The future of all students and alumni are at stake, and we don't know where to go from here. Yeah, it is kind of crazy how, like, the minister leaks the exams, and then all of a sudden the university is being targeted because of this.
Yeah, something's suspicious about this whole thing.
It is. But I mean, this could just be party politics at its worst. I
Yeah.
mean, if the guy who leaked the exam was a BJP member, and they're like, "Oh, okay, now I have a reason to look into this guy, this Muslim guy who this university was built by a Muslim guy who opposes everything we stand for." It's like, yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, at that point, you're not really. Not that none of these countries are a true democracy anyway. I mean, fuck, look at the countries. Look at what we've dealt with in America for the last, like, I don't know, at least 20 years, probably longer. It's like, but you get to that point where it's like, a few people can determine who studies and who doesn't. That's kind of when you no longer live in a you no longer live in a meritocracy.
No.
It's kind of weird how all these people talk about we don't need DEI, we got merit, we got merit, we got merit. But then it's like, well, if you have to cheat someone else to get ahead, are you a meritocracy or someone who just wants to benefit from a good old boy network?
Exactly. Yeah, Evelina says here, interesting that Muslims and poor Hindi are socialists.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, yeah. Because, poor people and Muslims are going to, they're going to feel the same way when it comes to the ones in power. But the ironic part is I knew of Muslims who were well off or rich that didn't really care that much for socialism when I lived there. So, I mean, there is that too.
Right.
I think the more money you have, the less likely there to be socialist, especially over there. It all depends who's connected, who isn't. Anyway.
Okay. And then Evelina.
Evelina says, sounds like a bit like the Israelis bulldoze what they consider illegal. Could it be in this case also a pretext? It's certainly possible. Sounds like under Modi, the caste system in India is alive and well. Well, it was alive and well before Modi, but with Modi, it just seems more, just seems because I have to be a little careful because if I ever want to go back to the old country, just like I'm saying, like if I criticize Israel because I never want to go back to Israel, but if I ever want to go back to the old country, I can't be, I have to be careful here.
Can't be criticizing, no.
No. But in all seriousness, it's just sad. The whole situation's sad. Kathleen Yvonne Westbrook says, massive pots of soups and stews offered at Indian Sikh temples. None. That's true. The Golden Temple feeds like the most amount of people in the entire world, apparently, out of all the temples. And Wayne says, sorry, not commenting today. We'll be soon on bus going to meet friend for the movie Moana. And he says the emperor mocked the press correspondent dinner during the running third term childish. And Kathleen says that yoga helps. And she says 1260 now, 234 days. Whoa. And thy bird woe comes quickly. Mother Church, to John, sister, greetings. All right.
Okay. Do we want to get on to?
Yeah, speaking of questionable democracies, I'm oh, man.
Do we want to get on to the Christian faith and hypocrisy? Or do you want to talk about another Indian article?
I mean,
or do you have something else you want to put on?
You know what? Tell you what, let's share the other Indian article tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I know Denard wants to talk about it too, so.
Yeah, okay, so we'll get on to the Christian hypocrisy.
Actually, before we get to the Christian hypocrisy, we got to share two videos.
Okay.
In regards to this. I sent you two of them. One was the Jewish podcaster Adam King being asked, who would he prefer, Muslims or Christians? That's how we got to start this video. Because if we're going to talk about Christian hypocrisy, people got to know where to like really. Because you're dealing with right-wing idiots, you got to deal with them all the way. Like you can't just deal with them a little bit. You got to like really hit home where it hurts. Where they're like, "Oh crap, our own people think we're stupid for disagreeing with them." You know, that's why I always come. That's why I come from like the more religious right point of view, because then they all don't know what. None of them know what the hell to say. Right? You say, "Oh my God, they're atheists. Oh my God, you're an atheist. You don't believe in religion. You're a stupid leftist commie." It's like then they just hide behind the Bible. But when you point out that the Bible they're using to quote share their beliefs has been wrongly interpreted by them. When you point out their lack of reading comprehension of the Bible, all of a sudden they start losing their fucking minds. You know what? Let's share one more Indian article. Unless you want to like laugh at a video of Gavin McInnes, right-winger Gavin McInnes crashing out.
Well, we can watch. I'm bringing that up, and then we can get to the Christian Zionist that we wanted to talk about, the Christian hypocrisy, because it's in the title, and then we want to talk more about the. Like
I
you said,
mean,
Marty wants to talk about it too.
yeah, that's why I kind of want to save that for him. Plus, yeah.
Okay.
Let's bring up the two funny videos in regard to our topic. All right.
Let me get to the video.
Yeah, the one where podcaster Adam King of Jewish faith is asked.
Gavin McInnes walks off.
No, not that one. Actually, what's the first? Hold on. No. Replay this one.
Let me pray.
Yeah, play it with the noise. Put the noise on.
Okay, let me.
Gavin,
come on.
I have
Don't be like that.
Listen,
Don't
let me
abandon
speak.
me.
I have a very strong.
No, not this video. The other video.
The lost artifacts of the Jewish people, which are held by the Vatican.
Dolores, play the other video.
Think that the Vatican represents.
Okay.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
No, this is something else.
Actually, let me. All right. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I got this. Hold on. 10. Gavin, what's Gavin?
Let me take this off for now, and
hold on. I'll. Gavin, okay. I was gonna play this from my.
Okay, you play it.
All right.
And it was Islam or Catholicism. Which one would you get rid of? Great question.
Duh.
What? What'd you say?
Catholicism.
What? Listen here, Swinger.
Oh my God, that was funny. Let's play that again.
Yeah, play it again.
Which one? And it was Islam or Catholicism. Which one would you get rid of? Great question.
Duh.
What? What'd you say?
Catholicism.
What?
You all heard that, right?
Yeah, so they get rid of Catholicism.
They'd rather get rid of Catholicism than Islam. That's
Right, so
Adam King saying that. And now I got to play the rest of the meltdown. Now I got to play the rest of this meltdown because this was such a classic video. I got to just play this now. God, this was hilarious. Oh my God. This was so funny when I saw this. This was really funny when I saw that.
Right, because it's okay to, because here in the U.S., what is Fox News and all of them doing?
Yeah, they do the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
That's why it's hilarious. Oh, I gotta play the rest of this meltdown.
Okay, play the rest of the meltdown.
I gotta play the rest of this. Is hilarious. Oh, 1 second. Oh man, 1 second. I gotta play this. Oh. Okay.
Be like that.
I have a
Don't
very
be like that.
Listen,
Don't abandon me.
I have a very strong
2,000 years.
retrieving the lost artifacts of the Jewish people, which are held by the Vatican.
Yeah, I'm out.
I don't think that the Vatican represents. Let me ask you a question. Here's
Let's
a real
go.
question. Here's a real question about Catholicism.
I knew that question would be.
Good one, Vince. I appreciate it. So, all right, whatever.
Oh my god, that was hilarious. You guys heard that, right?
It was hard to pick out the words. What was he saying?
No, Nick was just making fun of him, and then Adam was talking about how Adam King, the podcaster of Jewish faith, he
Right.
said the sacred books of Judaism or whatever, they're held in the Vatican. So he's not really fond of that. But I'll play that again though.
Okay.
Gavin, come on. I have a
Don't
very
be like that.
I have a
Don't
very
be like that.
Listen, let
Don't
me speak.
abandon me.
I have
We
a
were
very
oppressed
strong
for 2,000
commitment to
years.
retrieving the lost artifacts of the Jewish people which are held by the Vatican. Yeah, I'm out. I don't think that the Vatican represents. Let me ask you a question.
See, the lost artifacts of the Jewish faith are held in the Vatican. So that, yeah, and then they say, and they're upset about that. So, and then these idiots say, well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The Jews are our friends. The Jewish people are our allies. I'm like, no, they're not. They're mad at you.
Well, everything is.
I mean, it's so backwards how stupid these people are. It's like they're literally telling you to your face, we don't care about America. We don't care about Christians. And yet these Christian Zionists still support them.
Well, the Christian Zionist is a whole other.
I got a question. This has become so ridiculous. Should we just see a Christian? Should we just put yarmulkes on our head, see a Christian Zionist, and just spit in their mouth? Like, is it getting this bad? Should we just pretend to be Jewish and be like, "Oy vey, if you love our faith, you'll understand," and they'll just swallow the spit? Is that how retarded these Christian Zionists are? Like, should I wear a mask looking like a Jewish person, and then you wear like a yarmulke on your head? We go up to Christian Zionists and go, "Oy vey, don't you understand? That's pretty much 3,000 years ago. That's a present to you."
Well, these are the extreme Orthodox that are running around causing all the
I'm just saying,
problems.
should we try to dress up as them and do that to the same Christian Zionists? These people are morons. I mean, how stupid are you to support people that literally tell you they have no respect for you and they want to unalive you?
And this was a big issue with Mike Huckabee.
But he's not gonna die soon, so whatever. Like,
Well, they.
at least with Huckabee, he's near the end. So if he's just old, I mean, he's terrible. He's another one of them, obviously. He's a man of Christian faith, but he gets on the knees for Judaism. So it's well, I guess you don't really believe in Jesus Christ all that much. I mean, he obviously is the biggest one, but it's almost like, I don't know. At least he's old and fat, so he doesn't have that much time left anyway. I mean, Huckabee's 75 years old? 73?
But like I've always said, these people don't follow Christianity anyway.
They don't.
You know, there's the person who they claim to follow, Jesus. His teachings they don't follow at all. They're into all of this other nonsense.
Yeah, but here's the
Following the teachings
not
of this person they claim to believe in and to follow.
yeah, but not only do they not follow them at all, they don't even follow the most basic parts of what their Lord and Savior said about them. He's like, hey, these guys, according to Revelations, he's like, hey, they are the synagogue, these brood of vipers. These Jews are the synagogue of Satan. Do not follow them. That's what they tell them in Revelations. And they're
Right.
still going, oh, what are you talking about? They're still our friends. It's no, the fuck they're not. They don't like you. And they think Jesus Christ is burning in crap.
Now that's
Literal crap in hell.
That's just a certain sector that wrote something like that. It doesn't mean everybody.
I mean, when you got Ben Shapiro going on podcasts talking about this sort of crap,
Yeah,
and a lot of Jewish people agree with that. I mean, these people are morons. these Christian Zionists are complete morons. I mean, do you know what Christian Zionism is?
Yes.
It's like seeing someone in an abusive relationship with their significant other, right?
Hmm.
And no matter how badly they treat them, no matter how many times they spit in their face, no matter how many times they abuse them, no matter how many times they fuck them over, they always go running back to them. That's Christian Zionism in a nutshell. No
Well,
matter
Christian
how many times they have to
Zionism,
call the cops on them for domestic abuse, they're always running back to them.
well, Christian Zionism is not even Christianity. It's just
Yeah,
this whole end times. They focus on the end
yeah,
times.
but my point being is they're such idiots. They're like in an
Yeah.
abusive relationship and they don't realize it. That's what Christian Zionism is.
Right.
And yeah,
And they want to they want all the Jews to go back to Israel. They believe that they're going to be able to just to convert them to Christianity,
yeah,
or
but
else they're going to die.
yeah, but
That's
here's
crazy.
the thing that's also mentioned in the Bible that none of these fucking retards understand. Israel was also a place in Jacob's mind that he called home.
Yes.
It's not even a real place.
Right.
It was an imaginary place in his mind he called home. That would be like if you became a freaking, I don't know, a prophet of something for a religion, and you said like my homeland is somewhere between the middle of Georgia and the middle of like Connecticut, and anything shadow that's shaded in between those boundaries are like my home. And then
Right.
thousands of years later, the Church of Dolores. The Church of Dolores, you have a bunch of ministers and religious leaders of that church saying this is called Dolores land. That's what it is.
Right.
This is how ridiculous the whole thing is.
Right.
It's like it's a place in your mind that you call home, and yet it's become a thing.
Yeah.
It's same thing with Jacob and Israel.
Yeah.
It's a place in his mind he called home. And we won't even get to the DNA test part of it. Actually, let's do it. If you take a DNA test, the real Semites are the Palestinians, and the fake Semites are the European, are the ones who claim to be the chosen people.
Hmm.
And another thing, speaking about those assholes, it's like for years, if you mention Khazarian Empire, oh my God, Khazarian Empire, that's where they're from. You were called a conspiracy theorist. Because, Khazar was in Eastern Europe by Turkey, whatever, right?
Hmm.
The same Caucasus Mountains near Ukraine, whatever the fuck. But then now that they want to have settlements in freaking Ukraine, it's like these morons are literally gaslighting us. It's like, wait a second. You said it was a conspiracy theory, and now you've proven it to be true, and now you're saying it was never an issue.
Well, they didn't want to talk about it at that time.
They were like, oy vey, it's a conspiracy theory. If you mention the Khazarian Empire, even though we want to build Jewish settlements into Ukraine. It's like, what? How is that a conspiracy theory if you're open about this?
Hmm.
I mean, it's bad enough people are so stupid they don't understand, like, the Ukrainian army is literally Nazis. They're literal Nazis with the fucking Nazi symbol on their goddamn goddamn uniforms.
Yes, and they are the sons and daughters of Nazis.
Yeah,
Real thing.
some of them too. Yeah, and it's like, well, some of the Nazis went there. Some of them went to Argentina and the U.S. and whatever. But the bottom line is, they're Nazis. They have the neo-Nazi symbols on their fucking uniforms, and then you have the fucking like tiny hat people. The oy veys, what are you talking about? Trying to build Jewish settlements in Ukraine years after saying, oh, you're a conspiracy, it's anti-Semitic, you're a conspiracy theorist for mentioning the Khazarian Empire. You're a conspiracy theorist for mentioning Khazar. It's like, apparently not.
And too, what's creepy is, during World War II, all the Ukrainians that were taken off and they were killed.
Yeah. But you're an anti-Semite if you bring up Khazarian Empire. Even though Ukraine was our home, you're still a conspiracy theorist for bringing up Khazar.
That's where Bezalel Smotrich, his
Right.
family's from Ukraine.
I mean, it's like we have nobody is honest about anything. How
No.
dishonest you have to be where you're called out on your lies and you double down on them?
Yeah.
How do you sit there and say the Khazarian Empire theory is a Khazarian Empire in Kazahar is nothing but a conspiracy theory in regards to where the original chosen, quote unquote, chosen people are from? And then a few years later say, oy vey, we got to settle back there. That's where our real home is, in the eastern part of Ukraine. I mean, at this point, they might as well. You mentioned it. They might as well say that the eastern part of Ukraine, rename it Kazahar.
Mm-hmm.
Good
What gets
God.
me is the fact of, like, when we talk about, Palestine and the DNA of the Palestinians,
Yep.
they're indigenous to that land.
80% of them are indigenous to that land. Yeah. Minimum, I think they have 80. Majority of them have their lineage is traced back directly to that land.
Yeah, and they're the ones that are being pushed off their land, the ones that are indigenous. And the Christian hypocrisy, they don't see that. Some of the people were saying about Bethlehem and in Jerusalem and having Christians there, and they're Christians in Gaza. And no, there's no Christians there. Are you crazy?
Yeah. I mean, these people are retarded. So I think at this point, you and Joseph Firestone or Madeline Hoffman should just go up to a bunch of Christian Zionists and just, you should dress up like a typical Orthodox Jew. You, Joseph Firestone, and Madeline Hoffman should just go up to a bunch of Christian Zionists, spit in their face, saying, "Jesus Christ told us to do this." Just see how they react.
This is the crazy thing. Is that something Jesus would not do?
I know, but these people are such idiots. You might as well be like, "This is from the Bible." They'd be like, "Oh, thank you so much. We were appreciative." I mean, you have freaking Officer Brandon Tatum. Officer Brandon Tatum. Going on a podcast with Benjamin Netanyahu. He's like, "Oh yeah, Israel was great. They only spat on us one time, dog."
Yeah, they only spat on us one time.
I mean, these people are morons.
Right, because you see the horrible things that that those extremists, what they say to the people that are waiting, like they would have, when they did have the tourists going through there in Jerusalem and going to Bethlehem, you'd have the, some of those extreme, Orthodox, like I say, between spitting and cursing and saying a bunch of stuff. And this is tourism.
Right.
Tourism is important to the economy.
Yeah.
And whether they like it or not, a lot of these tourists, a lot of them will go over to Israel as well and spend their money.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go with faith, hypocrisy, and genocide. The truth no one wants to confront. Okay, and this was written by Kaya Gravita, and it was written September 24th, 2025.
We gotta count the crows now. We gotta be coy-vey with cast. The black crows are flying all over Jerusalem.
Yeah.
We're gonna have 80 years of bad luck. That's why all the animals keep attacking us.
Mm.
Oy vey. They're the biggest human nature's wild animals are the biggest anti-Semites I could think of.
Well, the thing is, it's karma. We all know the
Obviously.
karma. I mean, no matter who you are, karma's energy.
Yeah, I mean, when you take the lives of innocent people, I mean, what do you expect?
Mm-hmm. For centuries, Jews, Muslims, and Christians lived side by side in the Middle East. While coexistence was not perfect, history shows that Jewish communities in Muslim lands often experienced greater security and tolerance than they did in Europe. The current devastation in Palestine cannot be understood without examining how colonialism, far-right ideology, and selective theology disrupted that history and reshaped the region. This essay lays out the historical context and religious contradictions fueling today's crisis and calls attention to the hypocrisy of those who invoke divine chosenness while justifying collective punishment. Okay, I can. Okay, that's not too long. Okay, let me just go over here then. Jewish-Muslim relations before colonialism. Contrary to popular belief, Jews were not universally persecuted in the Middle East. Under Islamic rule, particularly during the so-called Golden Age of Al-Andalus, now modern-day Spain, Jews and Muslims lived in relative harmony, with Jews holding positions as physicians, scholars, and government officials, while Jews were classified as dhimmis, protected but taxed minorities. This status often afforded them far greater security than they had in Christian Europe, where pogroms, expulsion, and systematic discrimination were commonplace. This historical coexistence stands in sharp contrast to Europe's long record of anti-Jewish violence, from the First Crusade massacres in 1096 to the Spanish Inquisition and finally the Holocaust. European Christian societies inflicted repeated traumas on Jewish communities. European Zionism and colonial division. Modern Zionism did not originate in the Middle East but in Europe, where centuries of anti-Semitism culminated in Theodor Herzl's 1896 pamphlet Der Judenstaat, the Jewish State, advocating for a Jewish homeland. British colonial policy further entrenched division. The 1917 Balfour Declaration supported a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, while disregarding the rights of the Arab majority. Yeah, that's what gets me. That typical Britain, they just decide on some land that they're gonna just say, okay, this is gonna go to these people. Screw the people that are already there.
That's what they did with the Balfour Declaration way back in the day.
Yeah,
That was in the early 1900s. That wasn't even in today's. That was even in the 40s. That was before. That was like during World War One. They decided that.
yeah, 1917, but then it was
Yeah.
before then too.
Yeah, that's insane.
Why?
When Western Germany and East Germany were split up, why couldn't they have just given Israel their piece of land in East Germany back in the day? They could have just been like, all right, here's your land, and just left the Middle Easterners alone. That's all they had to do.
Right, and hold Germany responsible that way. Yeah, because you have to, and plus the people were from that region.
Right.
Instead of taking people and shipping them all the way off to a completely different region.
Yeah. You notice how like they claim to be so native to the region, but yet they're the ones suffering the most with skin cancers, sunburn, and none of their trees that they import from, other parts of Europe that go there, they don't even survive.
No,
They die instantly. It's like, yeah, obviously they're not of the land.
no.
Like, we don't need any more evidence or proof of this.
Hmm. And a lot of them are allergic to the olives from the region too.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. You're allergic to frickin' olives. You're definitely not that part.
These policies aligned with the broader imperial strategy of divide and rule. European powers drew artificial borders, privileged certain groups, and fractured long-standing communities. This colonial backdrop enabled European Jews fleeing persecution to settle in Palestine, a process that displaced indigenous Palestinians, both Muslim and Christian. The role of Christian theology. Today, one of the most striking contradictions come from Christian Zionists who declare Jews to be God's chosen people.
Yeah.
Surveys estimate that tens of millions of evangelical Christians in the United States support Israel on theological grounds. Yet, if these Christians truly believed Jews are divinely chosen, the logical step would be conversion to Judaism.
Yep.
The fact that conversion is virtually non existent reveals the hypocrisy. Chosenness functions as a political rhetoric rather than genuine theological conviction. Yeah, if you believe certain people were God's chosen, wouldn't you want to be a part of that group and be in the chosenness class of God?
It would be. But again, you're talking about people who want to kill themselves. So
Hmm.
you're talking about people who complain about the mass migration of illegals, but then support the people who enable the mass migration of illegals. You know, the tiny hats.
Right, but then they also, throughout history, were slaughtering Jews as well.
Right.
Even more troubling, this rhetoric ignores Palestinian Christians, some of the
Yes, it does.
oldest Christian communities in the world. Yes, the entire world, oldest Christian communities. Churches in Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and Nazareth trace their lineage back to the earliest followers of Jesus. Yet many Western Christians remain silent or complicit, while these same communities are bombed, displaced, or starved. It's maddening. It really is. This
Right.
chosenness and hypocrisy. The concept of divine chosenness should never be weaponized as a political shield. If chosenness means anything, it should demand humility, justice, and responsibility. Instead, it is often used to justify land
Uh-huh.
confiscation, displacement, and the killing of civilians. Religious texts across traditions consistently call for mercy towards the vulnerable, love the stranger, defend the orphan, protect the oppressed. To proclaim chosenness while enabling collective punishment is not faith but hypocrisy. Exactly.
Mm.
Conclusion. This is not about hatred of Jews. It is about historical accuracy and moral accountability. European colonialism and Christian anti Semitism created the conditions for Zionism. Far right politics and selective theology now perpetuate violence under the guise of divine will. Those who invoke scripture to justify the erasure of Palestinians, Muslim and Christian alike, must confront their contradictions. Faith is not meant to sanctify injustice. Since salvation belongs to God alone, then no people, no state, no ideology can claim exclusive divine license. Truth demands recognition of this history and the courage to call hypocrisy what it is. And yeah, I agree with this. They're a bunch of hypocrites.
Well, yeah, they're a bunch of hypocrites, and they literally go against their own policies. They literally go against their own beliefs. You can't be a Christian and a Zionist. If you're a
No.
Christian and a Zionist, that means you're saying you deserve to die. From
Mhm.
a theological aspect of this. I mean, you know what? This is so. This whole topic is so irritating. I'm going to share a video from Christian people that explain this better than like the average person can. Actually, I don't
Okay.
know. Better is the right word, but they explain it in a more blunt sense to these idiots.
Okay.
Okay, because I have a reel. I posted this on my page based on all this.
Okay.
So I gotta. Oh, if I sent this to you before, I probably did. We probably played this on a show. But let's just do this again because this is so stupid. This is so irritating and annoying.
Mark Levin is kind of like trans.
No, well, that's a different video for later.
Okay.
But we'll make fun of Mark Levin for being transgender later. But in the meanwhile, no, I'm just kidding.
You know, all these people that claim to be religious um, and getting on everybody else's cases.
All right.
To become president of the United States.
All right.
The government won't do anything about Israel committing a hate crime against U.S. citizens.
All right. I'm trying to fix. All right.
It's not safe anywhere in the Bible to bless Israel, especially the modern day nation of Israel. We had some visitors just last week that were down here for vacation, and that was one of their concerns, that the church that they're in is teaching political Zionism, and they're telling Christians that we have to support war in Iran, and they're teaching hatred as a commandment of men. Jesus said, blessed be the peacemakers. God is not a racist, and God doesn't approve of racism. This is so important. And many Christians have bought into this, and they want to hate every Arab or Palestinian because they believe they're going to be blessed. Be Israel's buddy, and any enemy of Israel must be my enemy. This is not in the Word of God. Frankly, it's shameful. Jesus says, blessed be the... The Bible does not say anywhere in the Bible to bless Israel.
That was actually American pastor Adam Fannin who said that. So I think we need to play that on a loop. You know what? Well, I'm going to send that to you. So if you have your Christian Zionist friends, just have them play that. Because, I mean, if you got freaking pastors saying, hey, this is what your beliefs are wrong, and you're still doing them, then you're kind of an apostate. Matter of fact, I'm sharing this to you so you could do it.
Are you going to put it up on the screen?
Yeah, I mean, I already played it, but you can.
Okay, play it again.
Yes. Yeah, put it up on the screen.
Okay. Yeah, it just annoys me that, like I say, I don't even know what this type of Christianity is with these people.
It's not Christianity at all. It's all nonsense.
Let me see. Here we go. I'm finding. Here,
You know what?
see
I'll
it.
send another Christian one because these people are morons.
Christ is king. Why is that labeled anti-Semitic?
Because it is.
I'm playing 3 of these videos. One is the Hodge twins and
Christ is king. Why is that labeled anti-Semitic?
Leonardo Jolie. And I'm going to send you the final one. I got
Okay,
2 more to send you in regards to this damn topic.
No, the Bible does not tell us to support Israel. If you've been online recently, you've probably heard people like Charlie Kirk, J.D. Vance, and Tim Walz saying that the Bible tells Christians to support Israel. When they say this, they most likely quote the verse that says, I will bless those who bless Israel. But that's a verse from Genesis 12 and isn't in reference to the modern day nation of Israel. It is very basic Christian theology that the covenant made with Abraham was fulfilled through Christ's sacrifice. And now all of us, the believers in Christ, are the new Israel. That's why we have verses like Galatians 3:28, which says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, for all are one in Christ Jesus. It's completely ridiculous to try and argue that the state of Israel, which was founded in 1948 and is mainly comprised of Ashkenazi Jews, is the same Israel which God made a covenant with in the Old Testament. I can't believe that I even have to say this, but as Christians, we should not be supporting a nation which is mutilating and slaughtering thousands of innocent women and children, regardless of their ethnic makeup. One of the reasons that so many Christian politicians might be trying to convince you that the Bible supports the state of Israel is because those same politicians are receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars from AIPAC, previously known as the American Zionist Committee. And don't get me wrong, I am not taking a political stance right now. I'm taking a theological one. There's just objectively no reason to believe that the Bible in any way supports the modern day state of Israel. As Christians, we should not be cheering on the side that is actively committing genocide. No, the Bible doesn't.
Yeah, so I just wanted to play that.
No, that was very good. That was
Yeah,
did very nicely, you know.
Not tell us to support.
right. And then I might play one from Kwame Ture, R.I.P. him.
They don't know what Zionism is, but Zionism is a political philosophy which has brought about the state of Israel, the so-called state of Israel. This political philosophy has nothing to do with religion. On the contrary, it seeks to confuse others and let them think that Zionism and Judaism is one and the same. I am a conscious African. I know properly my history. I know that Africa gave Judaism to the world. I know that the first Jews in the world were Africans. Not only do I know this, but I inform everyone who has doubts about it to read a book by Sigmund Freud entitled Moses and Monotheism as a beginning. Consequently, I know that Judaism and Zionism are not the same. Zionism had its first organizational expressions in 1897 in Basel, Switzerland, in Europe. Here was a man by the name of Theodor Herzl, Herzl. He was the founder of Zionism. He said that he was going to find the state that God promised the Jews. Listen to this very carefully. This man, Herzl, was an atheist. He believed that there was no God. He said God did not exist. Now, how is it the man who believes that God does not exist is going to find a state that God promised to his chosen people? I'm telling you, this man is Satan in disguise. Zionism is a satanic movement. It is devil. It is imperialism. It is racist. It has gone and taken the lands of the Palestinian people and through terrorism has driven them out. And through terrorism, it maintains its power. And the United States of America, with over 6 million homeless, sends to Israel billions and billions and billions of dollars everywhere to bomb Palestinian people while homeless people are here and unemployed are here. They don't know what Zionism is.
Yeah, I'll send you that one too, because that seems more
Okay.
up your alley. So, but yeah, I'm gonna play the Hodge twins one with comedian Leonardo Jolie. Oh, actually, let me just play that.
Zionism is it for the
But yeah, I'm gonna.
Christ is king. Why is that labeled anti-Semitic?
Because it is.
Yeah, it goes totally against everything.
If you say Christ is king, what's their job? How are they the chosen?
Right, yes, right.
It is anti-Semitic. Christ was anti-Semitic. He said, "You're the synagogue of Satan. Get out of here, you brood of vipers."
That's actually a verse in the Bible.
You're the children of the devil. I don't understand how evangelical Christians read this and are like, "They're our friends."
Yeah, they always say they're God's chosen people.
Yeah.
I always said it from Republicans.
And then who are you? Who are you worshiping?
Christ is king. Why is that labeled anti-Semitic?
Because it is.
Yeah, it goes totally against everything.
If you say Christ is king, what's their job? How are they the chosen?
Right, yes, right.
It is anti-Semitic. Christ was anti-Semitic. He said, "You're the synagogue of Satan. Get out of here, you brood of vipers."
Yeah, that's actually a verse in the Bible.
You're the children of the devil. I don't understand how evangelical Christians read this and are like, "They're our friends."
Yeah, they always say they're God's chosen people.
Yeah.
I always say that from Republicans.
And then who are you? Who are you worshiping?
Christ is king. Why is that labeled anti?
All right, you heard that one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I wanted to play those videos since for some reason you didn't put them up, so I wanted to play that. If you want to play those videos again, please do it.
Yes, I will, because this is the thing: is that people, I don't know, they just don't get it.
I mean, at the end of the day, if people are going against their own beliefs because against their own of their own religious beliefs, based on fake religious propaganda, then they're just complete idiots. And honestly, I don't care I don't know if they really deserve to live or not. If they're that stupid.
The thing is, too, is that when it comes to Christianity, it's supposed to be the teachings of Jesus. That is supposed to be the focus. His teachings.
Right,
and they don't even follow his teachings.
Yeah, but
They
see,
don't
here's the thing, though.
have discussions on his teachings.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. How do you expect people to follow the teachings of Jesus Christ when they don't even follow the survival of Jesus? When they don't even follow, the survival of Christianity, what it takes to survive as a Christian. If you're a Christian and you're supporting people who want to kill you and think your Lord and Savior is burning in shit in hell, then why do you even call yourself a Christian?
Well, the thing is, like I said, that there's not everybody,
Enough of them believe that, and enough of them look at again. You know what? Let me play the Leonardo Jolie video one more time for everybody. Like, I don't get this. Let's play this one more time.
Christ is king. Why is that labeled anti-Semitic?
Because it is.
Yeah, it goes totally against their religion.
If you say Christ is king, what's their job? How are they the chosen?
Right, yeah, right.
It is anti-Semitic. Christ was anti-Semitic. He said in the synagogue of Satan, vipers. In the Bible. I don't understand how our friends.
Yeah, they always say they're God's chosen people.
Yeah.
I always say that from Republicans.
Yeah, then who are you?
Right.
Who are you worshiping?
Christ is king. Why is that labeled?
I mean, these people are so stupid. They want to support a group of people that say Christ is king is anti-Semitic and racist. If you're a Christian, you're supporting a group of people that say you're an anti-Semite for saying Christ is king. That basically means they think your religion is evil.
The thing is, everybody has, well, what you said, like, everybody has different religions, and here, and everybody's got not everybody, but a lot of religions have their extremist end, and then you have people that just want to live in the world, and,
Yeah, but
because, like, I look at the Christian.
if you're an evangelical, yeah.
And then you all have another group of Christians.
Yeah, but now you sound. Yeah, but now this almost sounds like you're defending their ideology, because it's like, wait a second, because they're gonna say, well, not all of them believe that we're anti-Semitic. Not all of them believe we're racist. Some of them think we're good people. At the end of the day, these people are evangelicals. They're supposed to be evangelicals, and yet they want to follow a group of people that says their beliefs are wrong. You're racist for having those beliefs. You're an anti-Semite for having those beliefs. I'm sorry. There's no other way to cut it if you're an evangelical.
Right, and the evangelicals go back and forth.
That's the problem.
They feel that they're going to be able to convert people to Christianity.
If they were your typical, well, let me put it to you like this. If they were your, atheist, non-believer, your LGBT, your pro-LGBTQ, your pro-feminist types, and they supported Israel, that'd actually be more logical. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying it would make more sense. Mm-hmm. But for them to do it on a religious basis is retarded. It's retarded at best. It's hypocritical at best, and it's self-destructive at worst. I mean, it's self-genocidal, really. I mean, they're basically giving the Jews, not the Jews. That's how it works. They're basically giving Israelis and people of the Jewish faith the permission to unalive them. That's what they don't understand when they say stuff like that.
Right, and then you have them saying that they're going to unalive the Jews.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but the ones that want, honestly, but here's the thing, though. The ones that say they want to unalive the Jews are the ones that want to kill everyone of the Judaism faith. Chances are, most of them, they're the ones that don't believe that, we should get along with Zionists in the first place. At least the ones I know of, because a lot of them are like, oh, well, if we do that, at least we'll survive. Because they know that they're going to get killed by them.
Because they have those end times movies.
Well, part of it's the end times, but part of it's the fact that,
end times, they think, oh my God, Jesus is going to come back. And they're going to be converting all these Jews to Christianity. The Jews that don't, they're going to just, die or whatever. It's just like...
the end times thing has always been murky because it's based off of things that won't happen the way they think it will. Right. If the Antichrist is summoned, the Jews aren't going to convert. They're just going to do like their freaking Moloch, and they're going to do like their worships and rituals to Moloch and Baal anywhere. Not gonna convert to Christianity. If anything, they'll sacrifice a few Christian children to keep up their way of life, or keep doing it at least. They don't. No. If you're a Christian. If you're an evangelical Christian and you're a Zionist, at best, you're a hypocrite. At worst, you're suicidal. And I can't reason with it.
Because their focus is just supposed to be on the teachings of Jesus. And that's it.
They should be on the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of self-survival through the teachings of Jesus.
Right, and what do they do?
Jesus Christ says don't trust... Yeah.
They're killing the Christians in in the
Right.
West Bank.
If you're okay with a group of people killing your own people, and you say, "Oh, they're still our friends," I mean, you obviously don't care about your beliefs that much. You don't care about your faith. So, I know. I'm sorry. As someone who is a Hindu and someone who is supposed to be a quote unquote ally of these people, when I hear one of their rabbis talking about how 6 billion people deserve to die because they're idol worshippers, including Asians, Indians, Christians, and everyone else in between, I'm sorry. That's not my friend. Those
Yeah,
aren't my
I
friends.
know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
Those aren't my friends. Those are I'm sorry. When
Oh
it's
no,
time,
definitely they're not. No, he's some kind of orthodox, ultra orthodox, or crazy
yeah,
orthodox, because he's not like the what are they? The
but this is
Jewish group, the
yeah,
Jewish group
no,
that's
no,
out
no.
there in what about what is that guitar? I can't think of the name. The
Which
the
one?
uh, the Jewish groups are out there protesting against Israel,
Right.
saying they're going against God and
Yeah.
all.
Those are the good ones, but they're
Right.
not enough of them. Those are the exceptions to the rule. When we talk about the reform and the groups like Jews Against Zionism and the ones protesting against Israel saying what they're doing is against God's will. That's beautiful. But they're not the majority of Israelis. They're not the majority of Jewish people.
Well, and the thing is, Israel's taking in a certain. They're taking in a lot of these extremists. They're going to these certain temples and bringing in a lot of these extremists who we see in the West Bank
Yeah, the
in the
extreme.
mall.
I hate to say this, but the extremists and the outliers are the people of Jewish faith that say what Israel's doing is wrong. They're the ones protesting what Israel's doing.
Right.
The average person of Jewish faith is okay with what's happening in Israel. They're okay with it. 62% of those people voted to support like an ethnic cleansing of Gaza. So they're okay with all this. And we have to acknowledge that harsh reality, for lack of a better term. We have to acknowledge that harsh reality.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
mean, I
right.
know the people you're talking about are
In
good
Israel,
people.
like you said, yeah, 60% in Israel.
Yeah, that kind of represents a lot of the
A
faith.
lot of the people, and
The international, they all feel that. Well, most of that, they all, but a lot of them feel the same way. I mean, at the end of the day, what people need to understand about Epstein Island is that 89% of the people who visited that place were Jewish, and none of the victims are Jewish.
okay,
That's not about.
yeah,
That's
Azar,
not. It's not an exception of the rule.
right.
That's the norm. The extremists are the good people who are actually protesting against these crimes. I'm sorry, but I can't keep listening to. Oh well, that's just a small part of them. That's just a small. No, it's not.
That's the right, well, part of the right, and whatever they talk like the Bezalel Smotriches and all of them, and then yeah, there's certain Orthodox groups that yeah, but
Yeah,
here,
but a lot of them have that same belief. I'm not saying
I
it's
know,
all, but
oh no, I know what you're saying.
it's the majority of them believe that. I mean, we act as if Netanyahu and Smotrich and Ben Gvir are outliers and extremists.
Oh no, they're
Well,
not. They're not
they're
because
not.
that has been, you have it in the school system.
Yeah.
You have, you have it in the education process, and people get brainwashed in that thought process. Here are some comments, Hosh. You want to go over?
All right. Any new comments? Let's have some fun. Azar Abdullah. Zionists say they are Jews, but they're not Jews. They're the synagogue of Satan. Salam alaikum. Brother. I'm glad you said that. He says the Israel of today is the synagogue of Satan as mentioned in the Bible. Correct. I'm glad. See, he saw that video. See, this guy gets it.
Yes.
I'm sorry to say it, but
No,
all
it
these
was
lines.
not supposed to be created there. That was the thing, and that's where you have, like we said, the Jews that are protesting that have been against the creation of Israel because they said it could only come from a higher power. It could only come from
All right.
from God. And this is humans. This was humans in 1948 that put this
Yeah.
Israel together. This
A
is
bunch,
not biblical Israel at
no,
all.
these are a bunch of satanic, pedophilic humans. These guys are satanic pedophiles, and they create the state of Israel. So it is a synagogue of Satan. You know, Jeffrey. You know, at the end of the day, before we get off or whatever. If you want to talk about other stuff, it's fine. But the last two things I'm going to say is, at the end of the day, Jeffrey Epstein represents the mentality of the average Jewish person. Benjamin Netanyahu represents the mentality of the average Israeli. So
He does. You know, they do.
and that's it.
It's this horrible brainwashing of people. And you look at it when with the gangs when they came over, the Zionist gangs, the revisionist Zionists with the slaughtering of people. Then you have an education process, and they didn't want people talking about either the gangs. Stuff they did that had to be kept quiet because they wanted the population to believe certain things, and in the education process and throughout society, you keep telling people certain things, and people get brainwashed in what you want them to think.
All right.
I mean, we see the brainwashing here in the United States.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Okay.
I mean, case in point, Christian Zionism.
Yeah,
That's the ultimate brainwashing.
it is because it makes no sense. Christian and Zionism does not make sense.
Yeah, at least if the Christians were brainwashed by Muslims instead of Judaism, it'd make more sense because they both at least agree that Jesus was a prophet.
Hmm.
I mean, again, they don't, again, the way Jesus and Christ is viewed in Judaism, it's a complete opposite to how he's viewed how he's viewed in Christianity, and even, dare I say it, in Islam.
Hmm.
All right, I'm gonna get going. This was a fun show tonight.
Okay. I was going to say with Joe Biden. Remember Joe Biden with that? He was a Zionist. Joe Biden was raised Catholic too, and then him saying he was a Zionist, and if Israel didn't exist, if there was no Israel, they'd have to go and make an Israel.
Well, Joe Biden's also a pedophile who shouted at his own daughter. So,
But the thing is, Israel's location is all they care about.
of course,
It's where it's located and the resources that are around there.
right.
And all this other stuff is just, arguing back and forth. But all they care about is the fact of the resources that are there. It's
And
not about the
yeah.
people.
And FYI, Joe Biden actually, his family owned an island next to Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Ugh.
I'm just saying. So all those liberals and leftists out there that are saying Joe Biden was innocent, he's not in the Epstein files, you may want to think again. You may want to reconsider that line of thinking.
Well, the Epstein files, that's the thing with the Epstein files, is like Trump was saying, there's too many important people in the files, or who he considers important, that they can't release the names.
Right. Well,
They should be released. Yes, they can. You should know who they are.
You know what's the crazy part about this? And I can't believe I'm about to say this, but that stupid twat Tommy Lauren was actually correct about this. She said that what's going to cost Trump in 26 and 28 is the fact that the economy's a mess, and that immigration is still a problem. Not even anything about the wars or the Epstein files. I mean that, and the sad part is, I think she's onto something, because a lot of Republicans are tired of the fact that Trump hasn't deported enough people, and they're tired of that the economy's a mess. So Trump may get out of office, but it ain't going to be because of the Epstein files, sadly. So.
And all those people that are in the files, their names should be known. They should be held accountable.
Thing is, I think the original copy of the Epstein files was released years ago, and nobody said anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know Bill Clinton was in it, Puff Daddy, Jay-Z, all these guys were in, Harvey, all these guys were in the files, and nothing's really happened to them. I mean, Andrew Tate's been arrested more times than anyone else on the Epstein files. I mean,
Yeah, certain.
not saying Andrew Tate's a good guy. He's not. He's certainly a piece of shit.
Right.
But it is kind of sus about how he's been arrested for these crimes more than anyone who was implicated in the Epstein files.
Yeah, where's everybody else? Where's everybody else? There should be some kind of accountability.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to get going. This was a fun show.
Yes, I got to get going too. Thank you,
I heard
Harsh.
I ranted and raving, but yeah, that just, yeah.
Thank you. We had a good
This
show.
was fun.
Yes.
I can't wait for tomorrow night. It's going to be
tomorrow
you. It's going to be you, Denard, and I. And who else?
We'll see who else wants to join us.
Is it going to be everyone's? Is it going to be everyone's favorite Australian Wayne Santelbam?
We'll see if Wayne can join us. And
We didn't get a show where like we have a Christian Zionist come on and just not understand why he's on the show. That would be so much fun. That would be so.
Well, we could have a show where we talk to,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would love to do a show like that, just to be like, okay, so how do you explain this video? How do you explain this? How do you explain this? How do you explain this?
Well, a lot of them, what I find interesting is, the Christian evangelist with going over to Israel, trying to convert Jews, talking to, and they're not supposed to. But anyway.
Yeah.
And this rabbi had said, I don't have the number, but he converted a lot of people to actually Judaism because he lets the Christian Zionists speak first. The evangelicals, let them speak first, whatever, because they believe they're going to be able to convert them. And then he ends up converting them.
Of course. That's the most basic thing. I mean, we've already got Christian Zionists saying, your group of people are more important than mine, then eventually they're going to join your group of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone forgets Christian Zionists have one foot out the door. Yeah,
Right.
That's why Trump and Ivanka were able to convert to Judaism so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes, so that's that.
Yep, there you go.
There you go. Well,
I mean, at the end of the day, Mark Levin, for all his recent criticisms of Trump, visited him at the White House and said, Trump, you're the most Jewish president ever. And it's like, that's true.
of course Trump would say that. That's true. I'm the best.
He's
I'm the
Jewish.
best at everything. Trump's the best at everything.
He's so wonderful. I'm absolutely wonderful. And that's why he cracks jokes about Catholics and Muslims, but he doesn't say anything about Jewish people because he's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Trump. See you later.
See you later, Horst. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Azar. Thank you, Kathleen and Wayne. Evelina. Yeah, thank you for spending your time with us. And like we said, Wednesday, we're going to have a show with Janarde at usual time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And Wayne, you're welcome to join us, or anybody else that wants to join us. You're welcome to join us on the show and, discuss the topics we're going to be discussing. And yes, and let's just keep doing what we're doing. I know a lot of people are out there sharing information. People are protesting. People are writing to their elected officials. People are doing whatever they can, especially with the situation in the Middle East, West Asia, I should say. As I said, I've been infuriated for years with everything that's been going on. And, praying for peace and accountability. The Palestinian territories are supposed to be just that, Palestinian. The ICJ had said that Israel had to get out of Gaza, East Jerusalem, and the West Bank. and they completely ignored it because nobody holds them accountable. Why should Israel listen if nobody's going to hold them accountable? So I really wish there was an international force that could get into the Palestinian territories and start enforcing the rules and have a Palestinian state created. And people say, well, there's so many Jewish settlements in the West Bank. Well, people could move to Israel proper or wherever because that area is Palestine. And I really worry about history. We look at that historical region. That is history. Having a region calling it the Holy Land. Well, yes, it's the Holy Land. Yes, Christians and Muslims. It's their Holy Land as well. There's history there, and there's supposed to be a status quo agreement in Jerusalem, and nothing's being enforced. Christmas time, there's going to be a bunch of Christians around the world singing "Oh Little Town of Bethlehem." They're going to be singing all kinds of songs about Jesus, and they're doing nothing to preserve Bethlehem, to preserve the Christian presence in the West Bank. It infuriates me. It really does. And as I say, something needs to be done. Um, so many people are praying, but we really need the UN, a peace force to get in there to preserve the region, preserve the Christian identity in the region, also the Muslim identity in Palestine. Many Christians left and Muslims left because of the violence coming from the Zionists. So, we really want to preserve history and allow people to live where their families have lived, where their history is. It's just really shameful. It's shameful that the situation is where it's at. And I've heard people say, well, the Palestinians were offered a state and they rejected it. Well, you offer a state that basically Israelis wouldn't have accepted. When you look at the Palestinians, they're not offered a complete state. I mean, they need to be able to have their own protection, airport, just have a state like any other state. Israel always talks about disarming for groups in the region to disarm all the time. Well, why doesn't Israel disarm itself? Why doesn't Israel get rid of its military? They're asking others to do that, but they won't do it themselves. So let's just keep praying for peace in the region, pray for the Palestinians. We pray, to preserve history, Christian history, history of the region. People come to the region to, there's so many pilgrimages and tours to the region. It's an important region and it needs to be preserved. History needs to be preserved. And I just want to say thank you again. I'll see you tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And, we'll continue to pray for peace throughout the world. Thank you and good night, everyone.